Welcome to fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Nick, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing good.
Good. How was
How are
your
you?
weekend?
I was pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Uh, Mine is pretty good. Busy, but it always is. Nick, would you like to share your screen so I can get that
Yes,
set up?
yes, yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, so today is interesting. Okay, because I've been working on this for the last 30 years. So that's not something new. It's something that I've been working for a long time because this is something that FileMaker is not good at, right? Never be. They never fixed it. And and I really want to come with something. So the goal is to be able to sort data, could be a poll, right? Could be a poll or could be a list, right? So the goal is to be able to sort, right, for a list, data, whatever, a poll, a list, whatever, but without having to build like a crazy, script like if, the T99 global sort field equal description, right? Then sort record like this and say description, right? And continue. Else if, you know, else if T99 sort equal date, for example, okay? Then sort record like this by, so you remember this and say date, right? Right? And then you want something like this. If T99 global sort order equal 1, then so if this equals 0, you want this. Else if this equal 1, right? You want the same thing, but like this, right? Correct? So who had built something like this, right? Who built something like this during the audience? Many times, okay? So, and this is completely, totally insane. And after that, you have another problem, right? Let's say I say, yeah, but I want to sort by, description and quantity, but descending. Okay, so pretty much you need to build every possible situation, right? That you need. You need to hard code every single sort, okay? Which is pretty much impossible. And of course, what happens if you add a field in your list, right? Correct? And what happens if you say, yeah, but I want to sort by date, or let's say by description descending and quantity ascending, right? A, B, C, D, 5, 4, 3, right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is ascending and this is descending, correct? What about I want both like this. So A to D, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 2, right? What about, whatever you want, So how I can build something like this? And the first thing I want to do, right? I want to be able to say, okay, you know what? I saved sorts. I saved them. So I want to sort by something that I already saved. Or I can build my own. I want record ID, I want total price, and I want description descending. See? Record ID, total price, description descending. Sort. Boom. And it's saved. I don't have to build this. Right? I don't have to. This is gone. This is over. This is bye-bye. Sayonara. We don't need that. We don't. And this is a portal. And this portal is sorted. This is a portal is sorted by one unique field ascending. Right? And not only I'm taking care of multiple fields and with ascending, descending, but I'm taking care of another big problem. How the hell I can sort correctly text, date, and number without this problem? If I sort by text, this happens. 1, 10, 11, 12, 220, 330. But, even if I change I don't have a problem here. Even dates, I have no problem. If I sort by quantity, let's sort by quantity here, right? It works. And I can say descending, ascending as well. How the hell I can, build descending when the field I use for the relationship is this? Ascending, how it could be both. And how this could be text and date and number working fine. And ascending, descending, and combined together. How I can have multiple key script, sort with one only field, right? I worked on this for 30 years. I tried many times, and I have to admit that I got the answer thanks to ChatGPT. I have to admit, ChatGPT gave me the answer, but that's why I had a interesting and funny discussion with ChatGPT, because I told him, or it, whatever you want to say, that I'm not out of business, because he came with a technique that was okay, was very complicated, but I came with something else. I came with a upper level. And even ChatGPT said, yeah, this is other level, right? So I know you guys cannot have any idea. So today we are going to start. There's 3 sorts. So we have 4 webinars about this, 4 days. The last day I'm going to explain this, how this works. But the first day I'm going to explain how the text works. Second day I'm going to explain how number works. And third day I'm going to explain how date works. And then the fourth day I'm going to explain how everything together works. And how I can get something that is fast, that is not slow, right? Yes, it will be a little bit slower than the native sort, right? It will be a little bit slower. I admit it, but the few milliseconds you lose, right? You have this. Imagine this, right? Save salts that you don't need to hard code. That means I can have my own. You can, for example, you can pre-fetch your salts and code them in a script without to hard code them. And yes, it works if you change the name of the fields. And yes, everything works if you change the name of the field. And you don't need to hard code anything, right? So we're going to discover this, how it works, okay? So before, I want to explain something. Do you know that the technique used here, right, to do that, it's a 2,500 years old technique. 2,500 years old, right? Yes, I'm going to use, and we use a technique called @bash, you know? So what the @bash is? Well, our friend, the Hebrews, they always wanted to, they always had to bypass censorship and stuff. He never seen the beginning of the time, So they invented, right, a technique that named @bash, So here you have the explanation what this @bash means, So it's the first and the last, the two first and two last letter of the alphabet, right, of Hebrew, right? So, and we use that technique here, okay? So what is this technique? This is this technique, okay? So to reverse a piece of text is very simple. A becomes Z, a B becomes a Y, a C becomes a X, and a D becomes a W, right? So, for example, if we apply this technique here, right? Let's say I'm sorting. So here I have apple, beta, delta, okay? So A, B, C, A, B, D, right? Correct? Okay. So what about we apply the @bash technique? So this reversed become this, correct? A becomes Z, and P became K, and another P became another K, L become O, and V and E become V, So let's check here. So A becomes Z, okay? P, right? P became K 2 times, right? And L became O, correct? So far, so good, right? And E became V. So let's continue and apply the same technique to this one, to beta, and to delta. Well, so now is DBA reversed, correct? But I said sort ascending, right? If I sort ascending, this is apple, beta, delta. If I sort ascending, this is delta, beta, apple. I have reversed the text. So, thanks to this technique here, now I can reverse a text. Okay? So did you get that? Let me check Discord. So what about this? How you feel about this? People? Nobody want to talk? Hello? Okay, so yeah, Scott is typing. Scott, okay, yeah, quite interesting. Okay. So did you guys ever saw that, ever heard about that, about this technique here? Okay, so actually, believe it or not, this technique here is something that a friend of mine that was part of this is 85 now, but he was part of the Voyager 1 and 2 projects. Okay, they had this probe has a 64 kilobyte memory as hard drive. Okay, that's all. No more, right? And it's very. I think it's COBOL or something like this. The software they use it. Okay, and to sort data, this is the technique they use, because they didn't have the power to build a sorting process, right? So this is what they use to sort data. Okay, so this technique here works perfectly fine. The thing is, I really wanted to do that, in the past, but I couldn't get that. I couldn't get that working fine, and I couldn't get that work fast enough. Okay, so how to get the reverse? So I got, the conversation with, I got a long conversation with ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you the conversation I had with this guy, right? So pretty much, so that's what he came with. Okay. So that's what he came with. He came with many situations with substitutes, right? And the substitute wasn't working. So I couldn't get this work, right? Because ChatGPT is okay. I will come with a complete series of webinar on how to use ChatGPT for your development, right? Because that's a way to use, ChatGPT, to get the best result. But this never worked, because because this doesn't stop. So he was making the A to Z, but at the end I was getting the Z to A. So pretty much he was looping. So he was doing the A to Z and the P to K and the P to K, and then he was reversing. Say, okay, he was doing this. He was doing the A to Z. Okay. He was doing the P to K 2 times, okay, the L to O, right, and the E to V, and then he was saying, okay, the V to E. So he was pretty much getting everything back. I couldn't get this to say stop. You know what I mean? It never ever worked. And we try all the character, minus, it came with all this craziness about getting all this complexity, getting this, because I was saying, okay, this doesn't work, it still doesn't work, right? So he came with insanity. He came with insane stuff. Are you sure this works? It doesn't work. It wasn't working. So, and this is where the the problem of the AI, is that it doesn't have the ability of imagination. It's only um, memorization, recitation, getting things together, but there's no like projecting, and imagining things. And of course, so after that discussion I had with ChatGPT for, you can see that it was like a long one. Okay. So I said, okay, look, you know what? Think out of the box. As I said, with me, if you want to work with me, you need to think out of the box. Forget about everything that other people taught you. So because it's learning from everybody else that asks things for ChatGPT, for FileMaker, right? So all the people in the world asking things to ChatGPT about FileMaker, okay? So is learning. But I said, look, this is my technique, and story, learn. You need to learn my way. So now he knows that I'm using a lot of let statement. He knows that I'm doing a lot of while function and stuff like that. He knows, right? He learned my way. Okay. So anyway, after 2 or 3 hours, trying everything that he was telling me to do, that was pretty much complicated, I came with my own technique, and I'm going to show you this technique. I built a custom function for that. Okay. So I have a custom function for pretty much everything I need, to get this works. Okay. So pretty much this is what the function's doing. I need a text sort order. Okay. Text sort order. So I need let's continue with Apple. And I said descending, no. It's not descending. I want the normal. Okay. Apple. No, normal, not descending. But descending this. Okay. So if I say Nick Hunter, this is Nick Hunter reversed. And whatever this, I don't care. The uppercase, lowercase, I'm putting everything lower. Okay. So, but I can do this. This is descending or not descending. Descending, not descending. Or you can put this if you want. This is normal. This is descending. So after that, the other difficulty was, okay, but what about I have this character or this character? I need something that is not part of the calculation. I can, I need to dot, or semicolon. So all those characters need to be ignored. I mean, as is, they shouldn't be part of the sort, because there's no way to reverse a percentage, right? And even FileMaker doesn't reverse that, So when you do ascending, descending, is ignore those characters. But I couldn't say ignore them completely and remove them from the text. I needed to put them there, but ignore them. And after that, there were another problem, right, about the numbers, but that for the next, I don't want to include the number here, right? Because I can put I could have put something like this, 1, 2, 3, Nick Hunter, right? And I need to reverse that. Okay. So how this works? This is how it works. So we have a custom function where I have an explanation of how this works. Okay. So with the add bash technique and stuff like this, right? So forget the numbers for now, you know. Remember, so the problem was there's no way to use a substitute, right? And to say substitute A with Z and substitute B with Y. It never worked. The replace never worked. The substitute never worked. Nothing worked. Only one technique. I don't know if you remember, so bear with me, because I really want you to understand. Okay. So let's say I want to replace, let's say I have here the letter equal A. Okay. This is a letter I want to replace. I want to replace that letter. And I say $A equal Z. I'm declaring, picture this, I'm declaring a local variable in the let calculation, right? So pretty much, let's do this. I say the P equal K. And I say the L, okay, equal O, okay, and there I have the E. I don't remember what the E is. Hold on. The E, it's V.
It's a side note, Nick, I'm back.
Okay, cool. So, and the E equal V. So I'm declaring this. And the current letter is A. That's the letter I have. Okay? So now that I have this declaration, how I can make the magic work? Okay? Bear with me. So, Marge, I think you should send the people the link to the webinar about evaluate.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll go find that.
Okay. I use the evaluate. Evaluate is extremely powerful. Evaluate gets any piece of text, right? And it will try to understand it as a calc. Okay? So I'm going to evaluate. So for example, if I say evaluate A, you know, and get current date and I don't know, Paul, right? A and current date and something wrong here. I don't know what. Oh, is missing. Let's evaluate. Oh, evaluate something. Letter A equal A. Okay, so I don't understand. Specific field cannot be found. And anyway, yeah, sometimes this can be capricious. Field is missing. Why? Let me see. This works. Yeah, this works. Evaluate. I don't know why this doesn't work. Anyway, so it will try to evaluate this as a piece of calculation, okay? So let's try to evaluate something here, okay? So let me see what I've done here in the custom function here, because I want to make sure that where is my evaluate stuff here? Evaluate, okay, it's pretty simple, but okay. So I don't understand why it doesn't work. Why it said always specific cannot be found. Oh, char, okay. Okay. Okay, so here the evaluates will try to evaluate the variable, right? Dollar and the character that is here. So this will evaluate this. This is the same as saying this. Right? I'm coding, but this is hard coded. I want the A to be able to be Z, to be R, to be T, to be whatever. I want this to be whatever. I don't want to be hard coded. Here, yes, here I said $A equals Z, $E equals V, $P. So if the evaluates, I said dollar and whatever, if I put here, so if I said dollar and A, it said Z. If I say E, it said V. If I put here P, K, I do the change. I said, okay, Apple, I have A, P, P, L, E. Okay? Apple, APPLE. So if for each letter I say, okay, the $A, put Z instead of A. Because the evaluates, I'm evaluating this. I'm saying, okay, what is this? But I can build the evaluation with this to be something that variable. It's a variable. I can change it. I can on the fly, right? And that prevents an insane case, because that was the only thing that was working. Case, right? Char equal A, then Z. So I needed to do something like this and continue. Char equal B, then Y. You understand? If char equal A, put Z. If not, if char equal B, put Y. If char equal C, put X. But can you imagine that you need to do that for every single letter? That means that let's say I'm putting I'm putting a J here. Okay, so you need to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you need to try all of this for each characters. It would have been so freaking slow to do the case for each characters. Here, I don't need a case. Here I say directly, right? I go straight to the point, right? This is hard-coded. Boom. It's there. Once I tell, and it's straightforward. There's no case, there's no if. Is $A equals Z, $E equals V. Okay, it's done, it's there. And then here I'm going straight to the point, right? What is A? Boom, Z. What is L? O. Directly, I don't have a case. Say, okay, oh, what is L? Okay, case. Is equal A? No. Equal B? No. Equal C? No. Equal D? No. You have to go until the L to finally find char equal L. Oh, yes. Okay, good. Right? You understand? So that would have been extremely slow, but not anymore. Because with the evaluate $sign, right? So I declare all of this in my declaration, right? So I have all of this declared. All of this is declared, right? Yeah, it's okay. All of this is declared, right? So now, if I say, letter A, okay, what's wrong? Why is it not working? Oh, evaluate. Okay, yeah. So it's dollar and percent char. Okay. Why sets letter? Okay, yeah. Hold on. Because I changed the. Okay. So if I put, let's say if I put G, boom, T. If I put, I don't know, S, is H. So I can reverse the alphabet, but I don't need a crazy case, right? Here, I'm going straight to the point because I'm using the evaluate. That means this, for FileMaker, it's half text and half something that I change, right? Well, it's like saying this. It's the same thing, This, right? Or this is the same, right? So this or this is the same. But with this system here, I can change the letter here. So that means I don't need a case. I don't need to put all the possibility you understand? So this technique here, I'm using that a lot. Okay? Not just for this. This is something that I'm using for many, many things because I don't need a case. I don't need the case, right? So I can predefine those things and code them and evaluate them whenever I want, right? So it's for that. When you have a crazy case like this with let's say you say, okay, the month, if January you have something, it's February you have something else, so you don't have to say case month equal 1. If case month equal 1, then do this, or month equal 2, like February, do that. No. So you said you said dollar, $1, $2, $3, and then you change this with the month number, and you say, okay, dollar when January is 1, so month number, dollar and month. Okay, what is the $1? Instead of doing the crazy case, right? Correct?
Yes. Comment. Do you mind if I read a comment real fast?
Yeah, we'll go ahead.
One caveat to watch out for with the scope of the variables in a let calculation. I and a lot of folks use the variable I convention for iterators and scripted loops. If a calc like this tries to set the I while in that loop, it could potentially really mess things up with your scripted loop.
Yeah, but yeah. But I don't. Even ChatGPT was saying those I stuff and C and T and V and and I said, with me, you never even think about doing this anymore. I told him. I said, no, never ever try to do this. And okay, of course, if you have a dollar I in somebody else, somewhere else, where you need to make sure you don't have a conflict, which makes sense. Okay. Here, I'm using this for very, very peculiar, situation, right? While and in the in the custom function, if you look closely, right? I have a let statement and a while statement. So I could have this. I could have something like this here, you know. I could have this something like this here, and I could have this without to be a problem, because this is part of the while, not of the let, So yeah, of course, if you have another a dollar y here, but if you have a y, this is not a dollar y. Dollar y is dollar y. I could have this. I could have this, for example. Well, I wouldn't have a problem, because this is not a dollar y. So why I'm using a dollar y is because with the evaluation, I cannot say evaluate y. It doesn't understand. So okay, let me explain. Let me go back there. Okay. Let's say I'm here. Let's say I'm putting a. I could have done this, for example. I could have said A equals Z, B equals Y. I could have done this. Accept it. I don't have a problem, because I can put a let with one character, right? But what will happen if I do this? Evaluate char, right? Why say that always? So, first I always get this, evaluate this. Let's put A here, right? I always have this, because he cannot understand this. He can't, right? He can't understand this. Evaluate A, because if I say evaluate A, he always put that. So let's put something here. If I say evaluate, he doesn't understand that, right? He cannot understand this. And I cannot say evaluate A, he won't accept the calc, Evaluate A doesn't exist. He is there, but he cannot evaluate. Now, if I say evaluate dollar, so a variable, right? And I say evaluate dollar and this, and I say A, now it works. Because I can grab this. This exists. You understand? So that's why I put the dollar here. It has to be dollar. It cannot be just A. Even though the calc, I can, I can do this. If I say A, B, and C, if I do this and I call those directly, if I put A here, it works. It says Z. If I put B, it works. I can do that. I can call those. It's like calling whatever, I can call whatever I want, right? But in the evaluation, it needs to be a dollar. Dollar and whatever here. Okay. So what else? Anyway, okay, so this is not a technique, but I'm going to explain that in the future about the naming, how to name things, okay? I think people building code with I, L, C, T, G, F, everything. This is T. This is D. This is I. This is T. This is M. So it's this is D. People building stuff like this. This is S. This is C. This, you don't. Okay, so this is N. This is an I, and this is R. At the end of the day, okay, what that means? Okay, what that means? What M means? What D means? What S mean? C, N, and imagine imagine all your calculation is C equals C, char equal T, N, and here you have IC, for example, IC equals C, like this, IN equal D, and C. Okay, so imagine you have this, C equals C plus, you don't understand squat. It's unreadable. I'm sorry, it's unreadable. EIN and D. Let me finish it to make it sure you understand the problem. This is ID, because you want to be, this is IOC, and this is IC, and this is not IN. So yeah, very, very easy to understand a calc like this, this is super understandable. You know everything. Immediately, you know what that means. Imagine that you never saw, ever, you never saw this calculation. You know what IC means. Immediately, So people are so, I'm sorry to say that, but people are so freaking stupid, right? So they said that, I don't even what that was, this is okay. Here they have a legend. And they say, they say something like this. This equal is number. They put a legend. They put a legend to tell you what that means. Right? Sorry, it doesn't make any sense, right? So if you want to code, people I know what happened here. People coding like this, they want to give them an importance, they want to look, and they want to look smart. They want to look like, oh, look at me, look at me, look my code. Okay, well, I don't care, so I don't need to put a legend. No, I know what number of characters, right? Do I need a legend? No, it's number of characters. Okay, so I said, look the thing, the middle of the text, by the counter, right? Number of characters, right? The padded count in the digital map, the character, his number is this. Then go to the middle of the digital map, get us number the character plus one. Okay, so it's look, you do whatever you want, but if you want to go I's, G, F, D, N, D, N, T, if you want to look smart, go, right? But don't forget to put the legend, because in 2 months from now, even 2 weeks from now, even 4 days from now, you won't remember what you were talking about. And you need comments, because you don't remember, right? So do whatever you want, but this calculate this stuff, even this stuff here, right? I equal I, and what I means for you. What I means,
They yeah.
I want to know if you know what I means.
It's for iterators, I think, or
No. Let people. No. It does. No. It's not. See? I in this here, I means initiator, See? So if I copy this, oh, I don't want to mess up this chat. So let's go, and I'm going to create a new chat. And I said, okay, in this calc, what I stands for. Loop index, it changed, so you understand? So this initialization, right? That I stand for. So you understand? So you do whatever you want, but I don't use stuff like this, I don't. So here are the questions. I admit that a bit lazy comes for sorting. I tend to have a sort field and replace with what I need with FileMaker native right-click ascend, descend works. Yeah, but it doesn't mess up the modified timestamp. I love Claris to add condition. Yeah, the problem is it doesn't. I don't modify the timestamp as well, and but because I will explain that to you. But the problem is how you do. The question is, so how you do this, on the fly. How you do this? Dieseltron 9000. Andrew Liverpool. How you do this? So you need to code every single, or you do a replace with the fields. What do you, so you just do native right click, ascend. Yeah, so yeah, but you have no UI. Yeah, of course, you can use this, I can. But here, if you notice, I am on the portal. So how you do this? How you do the sort, right? On the field, on the portal, right? So how you do on the portal, how you do on the fly, how you take care about number and dates and text and reverse, it's very difficult to do that. So this was the first. So let's finish a little bit this demonstration here. So that was for the text. Okay. So pretty much here, to get the final. So I said, okay, if it's A, B, C, D, if it's part of it, okay, I want this, right? But if it's not, if it's another char, if it's another character, then if it's not part of the list and it's not, a number, then it's another. It's a like percentage or whatever. It's another character. If it's not part of it, right? So I just say, get me the character. If it's not a letter from A to Z, well, and if it's not a number from 0 to 9, well, don't, give me the character. You understand? And then you have a let. So what you have a while. So the while function, lets you to do, so you count, so you get the text and you lower it. You put like, small cap, okay? Then you say how many, the length of the text, how many characters do I have, okay? And then you have the while that say, okay, let's say I have apple, that's 6 characters, okay? So take the A and put it on the results, right? Take the P and put the result. The other P, the L, and the E. And stop it. You stop when it's and you keep going until the counter is inferior to max. I mean, 1 is okay, 2 it's okay, 3 it's okay, 4 it's okay, but 5 you stop it. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, and 6 you stop it. That means we okay. Okay. So because otherwise it will never stop looping. This is a loop, the while. Okay. Do you have a while?
Yes, we do. I think, yeah, we do. So I can go find those
Yeah.
recordings.
So do we have question about this demonstration today?
Um, I must admit I'm a bit lazy when it comes to sorting. I tend to have a sort field and replace it that I
Yeah,
need.
I'll address that.
Yeah, okay. Making sure that that was grabbed. Just some follow-up comments on that.
Yeah, so after that, Lynn in Austin, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we have this not doing the auto updates. Yeah, so we have a new feature in the replace, in the replace stuff here. We have a new feature that says do not perform auto entry. Okay. we have this feature now. So we can do a replace without doing this. But I do want that to happen, right? Even though not only I found the way to get this evaluation dollar $A, B, C, D and change with Z, Y, X to get it like boom without a huge gigantic case or a huge gigantic substitute that didn't work because it was getting back to zero, it was getting back to Apple. I was getting the Zcoff and then back to Apple because, so not only this, but I optimized the code by using another technique we call that blob, right? So, but that at the end. But next week, I don't know, we don't have another question, but next week we're going to explain the problem we have here. So how you solve this problem of 1, 10, 11, 12, 2, 20, 21, 22. How you fix this. Okay. Well, because if you sort this by text, you get this. If you sort by a number field, right? But I don't have a number field. It's a text field, right? Well, the technique is this, right? Look what happened when I do this. Sort by text, but you fix the problem. It's no longer 1, 10, 11 and 2, 20, 21, right? Is 1, 2, 10, 11, 20, 21. If I put like a 0, 0, 0 here, it works. And if I put 0, 0, 0 there, okay, boom, it put everything. If I put the 22, boom, it will put the 22 in place. So to fix, but that's known, I don't know who knew that, okay, that this is a way to sort a text to sort numbers in text field. Also, if you look many financial and bank software, especially SQL, you will see numbers like this, right? For example, $1, it will be like 0.000000100. This is $1 because you can have $2.22. That will be 0.000000220. That means $2.20. So you don't have, neither you have decimal. So you get rid of decimal and you get rid of this problem text, sorting number in text. So if you do research on Google, you will see you have a lot of financial software, bank that present numbers like this, right? To avoid to have this problem. FileMaker fixed the problem by making fields defined by what's the name? Type, number, number, date. Okay. Sometime, when you export as CSV, for example, I think you got that problem. Sometime when you export as CSV and you import and you open the CSV file in Excel, sometimes you have fields that sorted like by number, like numbers, and sometimes the field is sorted like this, 1, 10, 11, 2, 20, 20, 21. That is the way to resolve the problem, right? When you want to make sure that the data will be sorted as number, even from a CSV, which is a text file. It's a text file. A CSV, comma separated or tab separated. Those are text file, So there's no formats. It's very basic. And then you have Excel that will try to analyze the content and try to be smart and make the cell a number, okay? But sometimes it fails. So this is a way you can fix that problem also, right? So when you get this, but you will see next week that I'm going to explain how to get this, how to make it working, because I don't know if you notice here, but I have 0, 0, 0, 0, I have 4, 0, 1, but here I have 3, 0, 10. So the 1 here took place of that 0, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if I had 100, it would have been like 100. It would have taken the 0 here, right? You will see it's something like, it's so simple, you will never think about it. Never. So simple. So that next week. So I don't see any. So who just curiosity, who is interested in getting something like this on the fly and save salts? And
I think that would be awesome.
Because let's say those things can be. For example, you can have salt like this, and you can call them on your scripts, right? You say, okay, sort by this one or sort by this one on the script, right? And then you can have this list also by users. Every single user can have his own custom sorts, right? So I built this because I have one of my customers, he has list views, okay? He has list view with like maybe 25 columns, and the layout is filled with buttons, with sort button, okay? With arrow up, arrow down, every single column, arrow up, arrow down. And then he had a menu with predefined, hard-coded sorts. This field, ascending, and this field descending, sort like this, So you had like 20, 30 sorts like this, and you had a layout, a popover with hard-coded buttons that called of scripts. It was a nightmare to build. Well, I don't, just click add and I build my own. Right? And of course, I tell you that you can, what's the name? If you adding a field here, right? Or changing the name of the field, doesn't care, because this is a field of the name. This is the name of the field. Okay? It has to be. So in the table, you need to have the field name like this. But this list feeds from the list, from the field name. So, whatever the field name will be, will work. Right? If I do, for example, if I change without changing any code, right? If I go there and I say description 2, right? So I change the name. Okay. So of course, if you do that, you need to go. Oh no, this is not right. You need to go to one layout and click a button, but it could be like, you need to update this. Now this, so you just do this, you update the list, right? But if I say I want to by description 2, now it works. Boom. And description 1 is still there, but description 2. But it shouldn't be there, description 1, description 2. I don't know why I have this one here, but anyway, I don't, I didn't go to any calc. I just press a button to, to change the value list, right? But I didn't type, I didn't hard code, I didn't go to any calc. I didn't go to any, I just changed the name and click a button to update the list. No scripts, nothing. So next time we do the numbers, the dates, and then we do the word thing. I think I will modify, I will do the dates and the number together because they pretty much the same. And I will put more time to explain how this works here and how I optimized for speed also, So next week.
Yes, next week.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
yeah. What do you say? It's beautiful feature. I've been so, but not sophisticated. But okay. So just before we go, with this technique here at the end, I mean, you don't have to understand how it works. So that's why I build the whole thing to be custom functions, right? And I put that in. So now we have this nice, folder here. So you copy this, you copy this folder, you paste that in your system, and you have, and then you have. I have many script here because for the demo, I have multiple demos, but you just need this and this, and this, those three things. That's all what you need. And I'm going to build that and put that in the folder sort because all of those scripts, you just need to paste, right? And then they work, So, and of course, I'm going to explain how this works because I'm using this new go to list record stuff. This awesome. Do you know how that works? Go to list.
Yeah, not really. So it'll be cool having you come on and talk about that in detail.
Yeah, I need to. That's why I'm going to take a time to explain that because there's two things. You have the go to list of records and you have this get record IDs from found sets, and then you have multiple types. I'm using the type 3. And yeah, I think do we have a webinar about this? I think so. Do we have?
Yes, we're probably gonna have a couple, frankly, like I said, if people have different approaches. I know that you have a webinar on it, and Hans is gonna have a webinar on it, which is both good because you'll get different opinions and different approaches with it. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah. When the Hans that we have this?
Hans is gonna have this in a week, and I think you'll be having it in like the next month. So we'll have a good spread out, so people will.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, it's a nice feature. There's some downside, on using it. It's not perfect, but because it's stable, it's context tight, is tied to a context, to a table, and so you can't. There's limitation, but it's for this type of application is perfect. So that's why, Okay, anyway, so yeah, so next week I'm going to continue to explain that, and then I'm going to explore, because I have multiple, you have one, you have multiple, and then you have the save. Okay. Right. So
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Nick. I'm looking forward
thank
to
you.
talking about this in detail. Everyone have a
Yeah.
lovely day, evening, or afternoon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.